Now for the JTV Caribbean News segment, I am Sean Rose. Vincentian political activist Lucette King, who is based in Washington, D.C., USA, became the third person to be arrested in St. Vincent and the Grenadines during post-election protest actions following the December 9, 2015 general elections in that country. On Wednesday, January 6th, officers of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force moved in on a group of protesters who have been demonstrating their disapproval of the election results. King has been spearheading the protest action being staged outside the country's electoral office for the past weeks. Lucette King appeared in court on Thursday, December 7, to answer to a charge of causing inconvenience to the public in the exercise of common rights, to wit, by sitting in the public road hindering the free flow of traffic, contrary to Section 282 of the Criminal Code of Chapter 171 of the revised edition of the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 2009. She was arrested by police after she sat on the roadside in the country's capital during an altercation with the police, who attempted to dismiss the protesters. King spoke to JTV News after her court appearance.
While we've been on the protest site outside of the electoral office, the police officers have been very unfair and in some ways I would say unlawful, because they are preventing us from, or trying to prevent us from, protesting peacefully. They're doing this by putting up arbitrary barriers around the electoral office where we're protesting, and we're protesting precisely because we believe the supervisor of elections, Mrs. Finley, was the one who actually helped to hatch the rigging of the elections. I mean, where on earth can you hear of some polling stations having either more people voting than are registered, or the 100% registered are voting? It doesn't happen, and that's just one of the complaints that we have. On Wednesday last, that would have been Wednesday, January 6th, I was taken, and I'm sure lots of people have seen that photograph, where two police officers, one in particular, Samuel, he and somebody else lifted me and threw me in a police van because, according to them, I was creating an inconvenience to the flow of traffic, and that charge they brought under our Criminal Code Act 2009. I don't quite remember the section and the chapter, but the attempt is to criminalize my attempt to protest peacefully. I appeared in court the very next day, 7th, and I pleaded not guilty to the charge, a single charge, and I'm to appear in court on the 19th of January for a hearing of that matter.
And further trouble seems to be brewing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A major fire engulfed the site of the government's Public Works Department lumber yard, located in close proximity to the E.T. Joshua Airport in Arnersville, early Thursday morning, forcing a temporary halt to operations at the airport. Firefighters were able to prevent the fire from spreading across the site. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves addressed the issue on Thursday morning.
Materials, building materials for the Ministry of Housing. Materials, building materials for the poor, the needy, the indigent. Building materials for individuals who had their homes damaged or destroyed in natural disasters, especially since the Christmas flood of 2013, and even a residue from Thomas. And to complete the 90 Lives to Live units, which have commenced. As you know, we have done far more units, and these units are not just entire houses. The units bathroom, an additional room, and the like. And there are some persons who have vouchers to collect building materials. And it is from that storeroom principally that those materials come.
Venezuela's opposition has sworn in 3 of its MPs suspended for alleged election fraud in its first full session in control of the Congress. The move defies a Supreme Court ruling and gives the opposition a 2/3 supermajority. This could allow them to call a referendum on whether President Nicolas Maduro should remain in office. The new speaker, Henry Ramos Alup, has said he would seek a government change within 6 months. Ramos of the opposition MUD coalition was speaking at the swearing-in ceremony of the new lawmakers. Following a landslide win, the assembly is under the control of the opposition for the first time in almost 17 years. Ramos did not say how the change would be brought about, but stressed it would be constitutional. Under Venezuela's constitution, the president can be removed from office by means of a recall referendum. West Indies cricketer Chris Gayle has been fined $10,000 by his club Melbourne Renegades for what some have described as inappropriate conduct during a live interview with a female sports reporter in Australia. Chris Gayle was speaking to journalist Mel McLaughlin during a recent Big Bash League T20 match in Hobart, Australia.
So it looks like you're absolutely just smashing this innings.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I want to come and have an interview with you as well. That's the reason why I'm here. So just to see your eyes for the first time. It's nice. So hopefully win this game and we can have a drink after. Don't blush, baby.
I'm not blushing. Did you any injuries? Did you have any? The boys were saying maybe you picked up a bit of a twinge in your hamstring.
Yeah, no, it's my back. I've been, struggling with my back. The weather kind of actually flared up a bit. So just to get some physio work and hopefully I finish the tournament. So I'm looking forward to go recover well and look in your eyes.
We're going to leave it on that note. Well done, thanks.
Sorry.
One of the more extraordinary interviews you'll ever see on network television. Mel McLaughlin with an amorous Chris Gayle. Well done, Mel. I thought you handled that very well.
There wasn't anything meant to be disrespectful or offended to Mel. And if she felt that way, then I'm really sorry for that. There wasn't any harm, meant in that particular way, to harm any particular person in any particular way like that. And it was a simple joke. The game was going on, entertainment, things get out of proportion, but these things do happen. So it wasn't any harm done, and like I said, I'll leave it at that, and I'm sorry for that, and then we just have to move on. Simple.
I like just going about my business and doing my job, but definitely a good thing that people are talking. And we want equality. We always want equality, and I've always felt in my career I've felt nothing but respect. And he did issue an apology, and I accept that, and we just move on. Don't expect to get that sort of answer, and a little bit disappointing.
That's it for the regional segment. The local news continues in just a moment. And coming up next on GTV News. And we take a look at the Tortola Pier Park to assess its readiness for the February 16th grand opening after it missed the December 22nd, 2015 deadline. And BVI remembers A.O. Shirley MBE. In this week's Hot Trends segment, we get a first-hand look at the annual Stouts New Year's party in Long Bay, Tortola. It's a rich history.